We've identified 5 areas of leadership practice. One of them is raise the bar. And particularly on this matter of raise the bar, learning how to get your values to be clear, learning how to get your values to be practiced, and learning how to get your people to trust that it's actually true, that it's not bull. A friend in eastern Pennsylvania who runs a construction firm. And what happened with this company is they were struggling with having the growth of the company cause some breakdown in the standards of the company. Anything that happened close to the owner was right because the owner is a man of values. And anything that happened at a distance from the owner tend to degrade. When it got further than his arm's length, things would happen that weren't in alignment with what he stood for. And so we really drilled in to raise the bar together. We went through the exercises that we teach. It was 2 years later, I was visiting in this friend's home, and he told me this story. The time of year was spring. And there was a huge project that they had won about 125 miles away from headquarters. What that meant is that every day, his crews would get up super early in the morning, get in their trucks, drive a great distance, get to the job, work all day, drive back home. And this job was going to go on for about 18 months. So this was a significant project. And at this point in the work that my friend had done, they had embedded the values, and they had cascaded those values, as we like to put it, out to the fingertips of the organization, and it had become real. It had become real. And so my friend's employees are extraordinary. I mean, they're clean. I'm talking about talk, and I'm talking about worksite, and they're fast, and they're industrious. They have hustle, and they're excellent. And so, his 8-10 men on that crew as part of a bigger project stood out. And it was a few weeks into the project that a union boss from that city came to the supervisor on that site and says, I like the way your men work, and I know where you're coming from. Wow. You're going to be doing this for a long time. How much do your men get paid an hour? And the supervisor answered, and the union boss said, I can triple it. You're going to be down here for a year and a half. Imagine the impact of those kinds of dollars. I need all your guys on my crew, and I can triple their wages. And they're going to have a long run of making good money for their families. Now, that was the scenario, and it's not uncommon. These scenarios happen where we think everything is going well, and then suddenly we realize we've lost a good person or we've lost a good crew, and we weren't prepared for it. But the story didn't end up that way. Let me tell you what happened. The supervisor of my friend stared back at the supervisor in the city and said, you see the fellow over there? He said, Jason's been working for the company for a while, and Jason has a Down syndrome son that was his life. Jason loved him so much. They were so close, 7-year-old boy. And he said, back just before Thanksgiving, Jason came to my boss and said, we just got a horrible medical diagnosis, and my son has weeks and at most months to live. I just wanted to let you know. And my boss said to him, listen, we really care for you, Jason. Keep us posted. What do you need? A couple of weeks later, Jason came back. Now it's early December. And said, boss, I am not doing well. I'm not doing well. And he said, you're going to see it. And I just wanted to tell you, you're going to see it on my production numbers. I am not functioning well, and I don't know what to do. I need the job, but here's what's going on. I go to the job. I try to do my work. I work for an hour or 2 or 3, and then it overwhelms me, and I run around behind the building and hide and cry. And I'm just not functioning. I think I'm kind of falling apart here. And I just wanted you to know before you see my numbers, I wanted you to know what's going on. And my boss said, let me think about this. I'll get back to you tomorrow. I really want to think about you in this situation. And he went back to his team. My boss went back to his HR people and said, what are we going to do about this? And the HR chief said, hey, boss, we worked through our values last year. Isn't that our true north? Isn't that our tuning fork? We say those are our values. they should guide this question. So they got them out, and one of them was, care for families, and one of them was work-life balance. And they said, all right, let's live out our values here, boss. And so they talked a little bit, and the HR chief said, I got an idea. Why don't I go to all the men, they all get good paid vacation, and see if I can gather in donations of paid vacation from the guys for Jason. See what we can get for them. And my boss said, that's a good idea. And overnight, the HR leader did that, came back to the boss the next day, the owner, and said, I got 6 weeks donated. Some guys gave a day, some guys gave a couple of days, and a few guys just shocked the HR chief because they didn't really know what was in these guys' hearts, and they gave Jason a week. And he said, I got 6 weeks of donated paid vacation for Jason. And he said that our owner said to him, that is fantastic. Go talk to Jason and tell him that the guys donated 6 weeks of their own vacation, and the company is going to match that. He said, add another week to it. Tell him he's got a quarter year, and we want him to be with his boy. And so that's what happened. That message was delivered. Jason went home. He was with his son through December. He was with his boy through Christmas. He was with his boy in the week between Christmas and New Year. And in the week after New Year, his boy died. And then there was the funeral, and another 2 weeks passed. And so all in, about 6 weeks passed, and Jason came back to our owner and said, I need to come back to work. He said, I know I've got another 6 weeks, and I want to give it back. I want to give the weeks back, but I'm not doing well. I'm sitting at home. I need to get to work. I need to do something. And so could I just come back now? I don't want to take the rest of the quarter off. And he said, my owner said to him, No. Yes, come back to work, of course. Come on, jump in with the crew and the guys, and we really would love to have you back. But you're not given the weeks back. That was a gift. You have medical bills. Come into the office Monday, cash out the remaining weeks, and because you got bills on you, and the guys really wanted to do that for you, and the company wanted to do that for you, and so take care of some bills. We really want to just pay that out to you, but yeah, come on back to work. And so my friend supervisor looked the scalper's supervisor in the eye and said, you're going to triple the wages of my guys? That's what you said? All right, that's interesting. That's a lot of money. But you just heard my story. So here's my question for you. Will your company treat my men the way my owner treats my men? I want you to hear that. The potency of leaders who understand that their job is to build a workplace environment where human beings realize that they're being asked to do good work. The work they do matters. They are cared for. They can trust their boss because when the boss says nice slogan-y things like, we care for our workers, it's true. This is not a small matter in the grand scheme of things at all. The power and the impact of good leadership at times is literally immeasurable. Our job as business and organizational leaders is to do good things in the world, do stuff that people need and do it well for them so that the things that they came to us for, they receive and they realize that was good, which causes them to tell other people about it and helps us to grow. The job of leadership is to create the workplace conditions that human beings need so that they can bring more of themselves and get aligned with what we are and realize that this is more than a job, more than a paycheck. This is a place where I can really flourish. And in our work in teaching those skills, what we do and what gives us such great joy and pleasure is transfer those disciplines so that the organizations that we serve can do amazing things in good for the communities they serve. I want to encourage you. I don't know where you are in your learning journey. You've learned a bunch of stuff. You wouldn't be sitting listening to this if you hadn't. You've banked a bunch of lessons. You've built a bunch of skills. What you used to not understand, you now understand. And I can tell you with all authority, being 66 years old and still having a vast field of learning I need to do, that learning never ends. I just want to encourage you on that today as you seek to make the organization you serve useful to the world and seek to cause the culture in your organization to be good for human beings, to lean in, take the lessons as they come. If there are ways that we can help you, we'd be honored to do it. Be encouraged in the impact you make on people as a leader. Be encouraged in the impact your organization makes for the world.